Alright. Okay. Damn it, forgot my phone. Alright. This is going to be a fun video, as you can see. And it's probably going to weird a lot of you guys out. But you know what? I'm a weird guy. Weird in the sense of different, I think. Because I don't think a lot of guys my age read these types of books or anywhere near it. Oh, and by the way, this is like half of what I'm going to be talking about today. Because most of the books I read are actually audiobooks. So, alright, I'm just going to lay down here and try to get through a bunch of these. So, damn, it looks like I'm naked probably. That's kind of funny. Wait, that's a super funny thumbnail. If I can do that, just like this. Like, hold on. The books are just like covering me. Like that. Yeah, that's actually hilarious. Yeah, that's so funny, huh? So for real, this is about to be a mad weird video, especially if you're new to my channel like yesterday and you saw me looking like an idiot on that boat with all my friends who looked like idiots, and then I come by with this like book thing. You guys are gonna be like, what the hell? So anyway, I really like reading books, and I guess I'll start off with the reason why, how I got into it, and perhaps how, if you don't like reading, you might be able to get the attention span for it. And hopefully, if you're already into reading, I can provide, you know, some good recommendations that will help you further along your journey. I grew up hating reading, and it was something that my parents kind of put on me as like a chore. You know, it was like homework for me. I never enjoyed it. I was more of a TV guy, you know, like most kids, and never really played video games, but reading was always something that I struggled with, something that like I just never wanted to do. And if this is you, then the thing that made me switch is sort of this realization that what books basically are is a collection of the smartest people who've ever lived. It's a collection written down in perfect lettering and phrasing of the smartest things that people have ever thought ever. So the smartest, most successful people, the happiest people, the richest people, the most popular people, the funniest people, they've all taken their best ideas and they've taken them and put them in books. And like that, I think it was that realization which came to me actually from a Tai Lopez video. If you don't know who Tai Lopez is, then if you look him up, you'll either hate him or love him. If you do know him, then you'll either hate him or love him. I'm interested to actually kind of know like what my audience thinks of Tai Lopez. But Tai put me on to reading, and I saw his TED Talk, Why I Read a Book a Day, and that was literally what gave me that realization and what has brought me to read probably, I don't know, I think I'm probably reading close to 50 books a year, maybe. Yeah, probably around there. Yeah, so I'll just get into it. A lot of these books are in the self-help genre, but I guess I'll start off there, and then I'll get more into fiction and then biography. But I tend to stick to self-help because that's what I started off enjoying. And that's really a big thing about reading, is you have to read what interests you and what excites you. If you're sitting there with the book and you don't like it, then move on, okay? One thing Tai said that I always remember when I'm reading is, while reading a book and looking for the information that you're trying to acquire, think of yourself like a gold miner. You know, pick in here and there, look around at a bunch of different sources, and then once you find something that kind of piques your interest, delve into that a lot further. And that's when you'll be able to read for hours and hours and find so much valuable information that you'll be able to apply to your life. So, also, I apologize. I'm actually really tired right now and probably a bit dehydrated. But, we'll do this video anyway. Just because, it's a great topic and it excites me, and I hope it excites you. So anyway, the first book that I really got into is this one, The Fountainhead by Ayn Rand. So this book is a fiction book, and I don't know if I said I was going to start off with self-help, but this is a fiction book that is really thick, as you can see. It is almost 700 pages with small font, and you might think to yourself, how the hell could I get through that? Well, this book is like reading crack or cocaine. It is absolutely exhilarating, and I never thought I would say that before I started reading it, but I would just encourage you to stick your nose in the Fountainhead and read at least the first 5 chapters. If you don't love it by then move on. Maybe even move on before that. But The Fountainhead is really good. It's about this architect named Howard Rourke, and he is basically the ideal man in Ayn Rand's eyes. Ayn Rand was a philosopher in the 60s and 70s, and she was very radical, and her philosophy is called objectivism. You can look a lot about her on YouTube, and she's a really interesting lady. A lot of radical ideas, but I really kind of attached to them, and I don't fully agree with everything that she says now, but when I read the book, I was like full-fledged objectivist, and I was like cold and heartless, and yeah. But now, I just really like the book, and I really like her writing. It's super entertaining. So The Fountainhead, check this one out. Okay, let's try to make this more entertaining. Let me see, what should I go to next? Let's do... Okay, one of the first, actually, other books that I really enjoyed reading was How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, which I don't have with me right now. But this book is really cool because it's like one of the most famous self-help books ever written, and it's timeless. It has information that you can read and apply in your life and like makes so much of an impact. I hope I'm recording. Please tell me I'm recording. Okay, good. And it's a book that you can read and read and read, and you kind of soak the information in. It's exactly what it sounds like, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And it's a book that I draw lessons from without even knowing it. Some of the lessons I've learned in it, I read it probably 4 or 5 times. Haven't looked at it in a while, but just thinking about some of the little details in the book. For example, one I always remember is a name is the sweetest sound anyone can hear. So a person's name is the sweetest sound that they can hear. And, I remember that. I always call people by their name. It's actually incredible. Like, I use it at parties. Like, this is kind of funny. Like, I'll be at a party trying to get people to play Flip Cup or something, and you can sit there screaming like, hey, everyone, like, get over the table. We're trying to play Flip Cup. Or you can just count everyone out by their name, and it's actually fucking incredible how people listen to their name as opposed to group calls. So check that book out. It has a lot more than that. But related to that is this one. This one's pretty cool. It's called The Like Switch, and I think it's almost like a more modern twist on how to win friends and influence people. Not modern, but more like just interesting take on it. It's written by an ex-FBI agent, and it's from his perspective about his experience working in the FBI and trying to get terrorists and criminals to trust him. So basically, he's he has 40 years of experience working with terrorists, getting them to trust him and give up information. So if you read this book, then you get all of his tips that he used against criminals that you can use on regular people. So it's pretty cool. It has really powerful stuff. One of the first anecdotes that I always remember is he had a student that he was training for the FBI, and his student decided to go out to a bar one night, and he was with one of his buddies, and he goes, hey, I bet I can get that girl over here to come say hi to me without even saying anything to her. And the friend's like, oh, bullshit, like, no way you're gonna do that. And basically this guy applies some of the FBI tricks he was learning in FBI training, and it's like eye contact, like different little mannerisms and body language and all of that combined basically allowed him to get this girl to go across the bar and say hi to him, and he didn't say anything. So I think that's a really cool book. If you want to get random people to come say hi to you, or if you just want people to like you or trust you or give information that you would want to know, like secrets. Yeah, okay, the next book I really like. I guess I'll just go down the line. This one's really awesome. It's called The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. And this is an awesome book. It's fiction. It's a short read, and it's actually on YouTube for free. I'll link that in the description. I'll try to remember. I know I always forget to link stuff in the description. But yeah, so it's what's it called? The Alchemist. It's awesome. It's all about limiting beliefs and like basically trusting that everything that you could ever imagine and everything that you desire is already out there. You just have to have the belief to achieve it. So it's a lot about how it's super interesting. Like I don't know if you got, I was thinking about it the other day, because if you go into like a grocery store and you see the people behind the counter like working, and this is no offense at all to people who work at grocery stores or anything, but a lot of times, when I'm in the grocery store and I see people working these 9 to 5, mindless jobs, I look at them and I kind of think like this person lost that belief that they may have had as a child, where they thought that they could, be an artist or, a space man or woman or whatever. And they just decided like, okay, this is how life is and this is how I need to do it. And what this book is, and who else recommends it? Will Smith, I think Jim Carrey. Look it up. Like a lot of famous people say this is one of their famous books. Hopefully I get there one day too. But I really like it because it reminds me that like anything is possible, and you just have to keep believing it's possible. It's corny as shit, I know, but check that one out. It's on YouTube, and you can get the audiobook there, or just get the paperback. It's probably like $7. So, the next book is let's go with Elon Musk. Okay, I'll talk about biographies for a second. I have 3 biographies that I can think of off the top. No, I have 4. I have this one too. This is the biography of Sam Walton. But I have these 2. I haven't been able to read them all the way through. However, one thing Ty actually makes note of is that books often serve as a reminder. So while I really would like to read these all the way through, just having this book and looking at one of the most financially successful people in the world reminds me a little bit about his like life lessons. And I haven't read it all the way through, but I've read tidbits, and like one thing I remember, for example, is that Sam values the dollar. Like he's actually cheap. So it reminds me to, like, when I'm out somewhere, if I'm like, oh, should I tip, $3 or $2, like maybe not necessarily tipping, but he always keeps track of the dollars in order to make the billions. And even though I haven't read the whole book, that's like one of the first chapters. So just because I haven't read the whole book doesn't mean I haven't gotten value out of it. You don't have to read books cover to cover. You just have to take a little bit of information. And, just knowing that this book is fucking $8. Like, if people don't buy the book written by the most financially successful person in the world right now, besides maybe Warren Buffett, then, there's something wrong with the world. Like, he wrote that book and just explained everything he ever learned about money. So, and how he built his business. Why wouldn't we learn that? Why wouldn't that be required for business school? I don't know. I'm ranting right now, but I'm fired up. Elon Musk, obviously, this guy's incredible. and I'd like to actually finish this one. I kind of want to get the audiobook for it just because I find it, for some reason, a little bit difficult to get through the paperback. And I usually read biographies before bed, but that's kind of not working out for me with the vlog because I edit before bed. So yeah, maybe I'll get it and I'll probably read it during the school year. And yeah, I mean, if you know Elon, he's just a crazy dude. Invented SpaceX and solar companies and Tesla. Cool guy. Again, like, he's a person who really shows that you can sort of create anything you want. And actually, I'll tie this into my favorite biography of all time. It's called When I Stop Talking, You'll Know I'm Dead, by Jerry Weintraub. This guy, Jerry Weintraub, unbelievable storyteller. He was the hype man, like the event organizer for Elvis Presley, Frank Sinatra, all these famous, like the most famous musicians and shit, like throughout the early 50s and 60s, I think. Maybe I'm not dating right, but him and Elon, like, there's so many parallels, and that's what's cool about biographies, like with successful people. You can see the parallels. And one thing that they both do in order to achieve what they're trying to accomplish is they put themselves in ridiculously uncomfortable situations in order to meet a deadline or push themselves to a limit that they didn't think was possible, or that other people would normally say, no, that's impossible. They do things that they literally do what people say is impossible. So for example, Jerry Weintraub he had never met Elvis Presley, but he like told some guy like, oh, I can get Elvis Presley to like perform at your venue. And the guy's like, all right, like, get Elvis and get me $1 million by tomorrow and we'll be good. And at the time, I think he was like my age. Like, he was like legit like 20, maybe 22 years old. And he had 24 hours to go meet with Elvis's manager. And, oh, you know what it was? No, he had to go get Elvis in 24 hours. And then the guy who managed Elvis was like, get me $1 million and you can have Elvis. So he had to find $1 million in a day. And he did. Like, because he put that time constraint on him and he pushed himself that hard and he didn't give up believing. Again, Alchemist, like, these books all relate. It's kind of cool. He was able to get $1 million in a day. That's crazy. So I love that kind of idea of tying biographies together and seeing the parallels of the most interesting people. It's pretty cool stuff. Speaking of interesting people, Tim Ferriss, I've talked about him before. He's what put me on to my morning routine. If you haven't seen my morning routine video, it's almost identical to Tim's. And Tim is like he calls himself, a lot of people call him a human guinea pig. He's like unbelievable. 4-Hour Workweek, great book if you're looking to become financially successful. I obviously am not yet, a millionaire, but like, if you read this book and you read the success stories in this book and around it, Chopper was flying over, and that reminded me of this book. This is Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. And Jocko, also, Tim has a sick podcast, but Jocko also has a sick podcast. Podcasts are free. Definitely check them out on the podcast app, which I didn't know existed until my friend Johnny Chusbeck put me onto them. And yeah, so podcasts are dope, free, cool information. But anyway, Jocko is a ex-Navy SEAL. He was in SEAL Team 6, the team that fucking killed bin Laden. Like, that's him. He wrote this book about leadership and ownership. It's unbelievable. Like, I haven't read it all the way through, but the main idea, again, this is another thing, like, if you just have this book as a reminder, like I'm talking about it now, it reminds you that everything that's wrong in your life, if you blame other people, you will get nowhere. You'll get absolutely nowhere. However, if you take full responsibility for everything wrong in your life, and even if the lives of other people, if you take full responsibility, you're going to become an action taker. And action takers are what make society run. And action taking, again, making another link, is what the Fountainhead's all about. And along with the Fountainhead, Atlas Shrugged is Ayn Rand's other book. It's all about the people who basically make society run, and then the people who sit on their thumbs and don't do shit. So yeah, Jocko's book is awesome, and he's a beast. If you do one thing, look up his speech, good, on YouTube. Just type in Jocko, Jocko, good, and it's crazy. Maybe I'll put a clip from it in here. It's fucking so good. It'll get you amped up and make you feel like soft, really like a pussy. Yeah, so let's see. Maybe another book to get into. Let's see here. This one's good. This is another one of the first books I really enjoyed reading. It's called Start With Why by Simon Sinek. He's got another great book called Leaders Eat Last. Start With Why is good. It's all about how to sort of find what drives you, what gets you waking up every day, and how to make that like the central focus of your life and your business, and just how you go day to day. It's a really cool read, and it breaks down how other companies apply this simple principle called the Golden Circle, which I won't go into, but you can watch his TED Talk, which is amazing. I'll link everything that's on YouTube in this video. Maybe that'd be a good idea, because when I link things off of YouTube, it like gets to less people, because YouTube wants to keep people. Here's my YouTube tip of the day. YouTube wants to keep people on YouTube. So if I'm linking you guys out to like audible.com to get an Audible membership, or like if I'm linking you to get a book on Amazon, then YouTube is going to be like, fuck this guy, he's taking people off YouTube. So I'll link everything on to YouTube there, and then the other stuff, maybe just open a new tab and like look it up, because I don't want YouTube to be mad at me. But Start With Why is cool. Simon Sinek, great TED Talk, one of the most viewed TED Talks of all time, up there with Tai Lopez. It's called Start With Why. Just check it out. He's also a great orator. It's a cool vocab word that I probably learned from reading. And here, let's get into another one. This one's great. Grant Cardone is a beast. This is the 10X Rule. He's written several best-selling books. I've read Sell or Be Sold. I've read, what's it called? Something about being average or not being average. Oh shit, my phone's at 5%. But yeah, Grant Cardone is like a multi-millionaire. He's the guy who's going to help you with goal setting. And while I'm on the topic of goal setting, I would like to show you guys, which I've talked about before, probably the best goal setting book there is. The One Thing. This book's awesome. And the main idea is just to find that one core thing that you are good at. And if you can guess what mine is, that's awesome. And kind of apply the 80-20 principle to that. Another Tim Ferriss thing, making connections left and right here. If I'm not making sense, I'm sorry. But yeah, where was I? Oh, The One Thing. Great book. Like, must read. In my eyes, like, definitely read The One Thing. It'll help you narrow down on what is your best skill set and what you should be focusing on doing day to day, at least an hour a day, trying to shoot for more than that, because that's how you really become successful at something you love. That book's awesome. Another general self-help book, so this one you've probably seen if you've been in a bookstore, because it's one of the best-selling books of all time in the self-help genre, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I haven't read this one all the way through. Like, legit, guys, like, a lot of these I haven't read all the way through. However, again, I've picked up information that is so useful. This one, I was in the Barnes & Noble at BU, and one thing I did at the end of the year last year is I would just go in, and any books that I wanted to read, I would grab like 4 of them and just skim them, seeing which ones I liked. But sometimes I wouldn't even buy them, because the thing is with books like this one is a lot of times there's only one good idea in the entire book. Okay, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, perhaps there's 7, but a lot of times there's only one really good idea that you're going to remember and actually apply. And if you just need to like read a book summary or go to a bookstore and just skim a book to find it, then why not do that? You can get the value for free, or you can go to a library, which I realized the other day. I can actually go to a library, like my public library, and get any book I want. I didn't know that. I've spent like hundreds of dollars, probably thousands, on books now, and you can go to the library and get anything for free. But buying books is good too, because again, it serves as a reminder. Every time you look at the book on your shelf or near your bedside, it's reminding you that these ideas are of access to you. And yeah, that's some good stuff. So 7 Habits, good read. This is another productivity style book, and this one's awesome. If any of you struggle with vlogging and you're trying to vlog, check this book out. Actually, it's really helpful for anything that you procrastinate at, but it's all about the struggles that you encounter when trying to do your most important thing. So it ties into the one thing and start with why and all that stuff. Mastery by Robert Greene. There's always something that you know you need to do related to that thing you are most adequate at. Like, for example, one thing I might procrastinate on is editing my vlog. That is every single day related to my one thing, the single most important thing that I can do. And sometimes I'll put it off to like 11 and just like do other stupid shit, like check email or like text someone or send a Snapchat, when I know that the most important art form that I need to be working on is the vlog. Like, I'll do other shit that doesn't matter at all. And you guys probably do the same thing. It's like you're procrastinating on the one thing that would move you forward in life, and it's like, why are you doing that? This book will help you beat procrastination. Get this one. It's good. It's, well, I don't know, it's $12. You can probably get it used for cheaper. Alrighty. Now I'm getting into some... Actually, before I get into the weird spiritual ones, I'll check out my audiobooks. Ego is the Enemy. This one's really good, and it helps like with like social pressure, if you ask me. I mean, I think about it a lot because people nowadays really struggle with caring what other people think of them, and you know, people care about their image a lot. You know, we try to post the coolest picture or post the coolest video. I'm guilty of it. You know, we shape our image of us based on what other people think, when that's in reality like so far from the truth. And this one, I'm sure you've heard of like egomaniacs. Like John Mayer turned into an egomaniac, and then he like fixed himself or whatever. But it's all about like throwing your bullshit like cover that you put on throughout the day under the bus and really just coming into who you really are. And it's an awesome book. Yeah, let's see. The Grant Cardone one was Be Obsessed or Be Average. That's a good one. 48 Laws of Power, another really powerful book. This one's like evil. Like, if you read this book, you'll be evil, because you'll be like, you'll know how to take advantage of everybody. This is it. I hope my phone doesn't die. Yeah, that one's good. And then I hope I focused on that too. But the other, let's see, what other ones I want to get to before my phone dies. Oh, there it is. Okay, so here's some of my other books. If you want to just check out any of these. Yeah, they're all good. Let's see. This Influence is a good one for like if you're interested in persuasion. Like, it's mostly for marketing and stuff, so I won't get too much into that, because if you're into that, then buy it. Just, that's all you need to know. $100 Startup, another good one if you want to be like financially successful. Then 101 Crucial Lessons They Don't Teach You in Business School is also interesting Free Will by Sam Harris. Sam Harris is an absolute beauty. If you're religious, you probably don't like him, but guess what? I like Sam Harris, and one of the other books I want to recommend to you guys is the fucking Bible. Like, I was the most atheist person probably a year or two ago, and don't get me wrong, I don't believe in like a man up in the sky. I don't believe in heaven in the sense of like a place you go after death. I don't believe in any of that. That's childish. I'm sorry if I offended you, but you know, what do I know? But then again, what do you know? How can you make a claim that you can't support with any evidence? However, that being said, I do love the Bible, and I love most scriptures. Whether it's it's from the Hindu texts, whether it's from you know, what's it called? Whether it's from like Sufi mystics like Ibn Tufayl or Al-Hallaj or Avicenna or Al-Gaddafi. These are like mystic Sufi guys who talk about like the mystical experience of life and stuff. And if this sounds whack, it is. It's really whack. It's like you gotta have like some crazy knowledge from books like this to really grasp, like, in my opinion, what the truth behind religions are. And this is like a really crazy theory that I have, that a lot of other people actually have, that a lot of people don't know about. And it's that all religions, you know, Islam, Judaism, Christianity, did I say Buddhism, Hinduism, they're all, and there's thousands of religions out there, but the top ones at least are all pointing to the same mystical experience. This is my theory. They're pointing to this state of nirvana, right? If you're Buddhist, to heaven if you're Christian or Jewish. You know, I'm not the biggest religious scholar out there, so if I say anything dumb, I'm sorry. To paradise if you're Islam. And in my opinion, if you read Eckhart Tolle, he links all of these, you know, paradises together as one being, which is actually in the here and now. It's crazy. It's crazy talk, because when you try to talk about this stuff, you can't, because you can't put it in words. So you have to use all these stories and metaphors and words like God and, you know, again, crazy stories and stuff in order to just explain that overall, that overall place that you want to be at. It's so difficult to explain. Honestly, like, just read Eckhart Tolle. I'll end it here, because you read this. This is like people say, like, what's the number one book you should read? And I was saving it for the end because it is the number one book everyone should read, in my opinion. Like, it teaches you to stop reaching outward for happiness, for fulfillment, and to realize that you're sitting on this gold mine that you have no idea that's within. And again, like, that sounds crazy and stuff, but read the book, please. Like, I have it on audiobook. I've listened to it countless times. I probably listen to it once a day. And at least, like, hearing Eckhart's voice is like presencing in itself. But it's a book that you just, you know, just read it. Like, this dude's a genius. And yeah. Kind of tired now. I mean, I was tired to start, but let's see. Any other things I could talk about now that we're here? Let's see. No, yeah, I'll leave it off on Eckhart Tolle. This guy, I mean, I can't explain it as well as he could. You know what? I'll end it off with a little story, a little anecdote. So, once upon a time, there was a beggar, this beggar was sitting on a box. He'd been sitting there for 20 years when all of a sudden this man walks by and he says to him, "How are you doing today?" And the beggar says, "Hey sir, could you spare some change or something?" The man walking by says, "Well, you're sitting on a box. Did you ever check what's in the box?" And he goes, "There's nothing in the box. I've been sitting here for 20 years. There's never been anything in here." The man passing by says, "Well, why don't you check?" The beggar gets up, opens up the box, and sees a pile of gold. So I'll leave you guys with that, and I hope you liked this long video about reading from a douchey college kid, and I'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m.
We lavish, caviar with a bad bitch. Chevis out the chalice, show my people round my palace. Yeah, we lavish, caviar with a bad bitch. Balance in my talents, my black card ain't maxing. Yeah, we bout it. I'll send a folks who doubt us.